everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Azure storage. Welcome to Mr. Rushi Choksey. Mr. Rushi is currently working in the Revokarma Hub Software and Service Private Limited as a software engineer. Mr. Rushi has more than 5 years of experience. Mr. Rushi working with the project analysis, design and development, testing, implementation, maintenance by using the Microsoft technologies like ASP.NET and C Sharp. Okay, and also having the experience with the front-end technologies like the HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, etc., etc. And working with a Microsoft Azure since the last more than a 1.5 years, Mr. Rushi is working with Microsoft Azure. So welcome to Mr. Rushi.
Thank you very much for introducing me. And let me hello everyone. A very good afternoon. I would like to thank the Palo University CSC department and Ms. Nirali Palia to provide this opportunity to share the knowledge through this webinar. Hello. Yeah. So today's we are going to explain what is Azure Storage. Here are the agenda for the today's presentation. First of all, we'll go through with the current scenario, the problem statement. Then we'll go with the Azure Storage, what is Azure Storage and the overview. Then the different services that are providing by the Azure Storage. Then we'll give you a practical session and how that storage is working and how we are using that Azure Storage. And lastly, we'll discuss if you guys have any doubts or concern, we'll discuss in the last, right? To continue, first of all, we all are the computer geeks, right? So we better know that what is storage and how it is working. So what happened in the traditionally, what happened the IT department or the network department from any of the industry, they are setting up the server with the, some storage space which are available for the user. What they are doing, they are storing their information in that storage, and later on the end user or that user will access those storage and data through that local server, right? But it is having some limitations. You better know that they're having some scalability issue, some tendency issue. They cannot easily manage the different resources to the local physical server and the storage, right? And it is quite a bit expensive to manage all these resources in the traditionally. So what happened to overcome this issue? The world is come with the a cloud storage, right? So the cloud storage is nothing but it is a web-based interface to the cloud storage where we can access our stored data to anywhere, any place, right? So it is better to know that what is a cloud storage. A cloud storage is a remote platform, multi-tenant infrastructure to provide the enterprise scalable storage resources that can be dynamically managed by the organization. This cloud storage is very helpful to each and every organization, right? So in the market there are several companies who are providing this storage facility, right? To start with, the first is a leading company, that is Amazon Web Service, AWS. I hope you all are aware with this AWS. Then second service is provided by the Microsoft Azure, then the Google Cloud, and the IBM Cloud, and the Oracle Cloud. These are the leading companies who are providing the facility to the user that how they can store their information to the cloud. And they are also providing the facility in terms of accessing security, each and everything, right? So to start with the today's point, that is Azure Storage. So first of all, we'll go through the what is Azure Storage. So the Azure Storage is a Microsoft managed cloud storage service that provides the highly available, durable, scalable, and the redundant storage at a fraction of the cost. Means the storage is managed by the Microsoft. They are providing the facility highly available that it anywhere you can easily accessible the storage at any time, right? Uh, it's provide the scalability. What does it mean? So let's take an example. If you are a small scale company and and you need a storage capacity of the 100 GB at the initial level, but later on, if you are storing the data gradually, you need to upgrade your storage capacity. So in that case, Azure is providing a simple functionality that you can easily scale. That means you can easily increase your storage capacity in the fraction of time. You just need to go log in and you just need to upgrade your storage capacity, and you will able to use that additional added storage, right? The Azure storage capacity is virtually limitless. What does it mean? In the physical server, right? You have some storage capacity, right? It is having some limit, but in this cloud you don't have any limit. You just need to pay for your facility, and you will easy to use the space. That basically depends on your business need, because if you need a few hundred of GBs, you will able to use that storage, and if you can migrate till the trillions of the GBs, right? To access storage for the developers, Azure providing such a good facility. We can easily access through the different language like .NET, REST API. These are the available platforms through which we can easily create the storage and access the storage, right? And these are the it don't have any relationship, but you need in terms of structure. So in that case, we are using this table storage. So the Azure Table Storage service store a large amount of structured data. The service is a NoSQL data store which accepts the authenticated calls from inside to the Azure cloud. That means that you need to store the data with the index, right? You can whatever the data you need to access. So for using the call, you can get the data from this Azure Table storage structure. And as I mentioned, it is a non-relational data, because your data is having not a single relation between your information. So in this case, if you need such a functionality, so in that case, you will choose this table storage, right? Now next is a file storage. A file storage in Azure file storage is meant for a legacy application. That means like of traditional application. What we are doing in the traditional, that we can share if we want to share the file from one folder to another folder. It is working same like that. That you can basically copying your premium files from your local machine to the Azure storage, and within a storage you can transfer the file between the storages, right? So the Azure file storage is meant for the legacy application. It is basically used for to create and store the premium files onto the storage, right? Azure file storage offers the file shares in the cloud using the standard SMB protocol. SMB means a server message block protocol. By using this protocol, you can easily share your data through the cloud storage, right? Basically, this file storage supports SMB 2.1 and SMB 3.0. And in a single call, by using this file storage, you can share a total of 5 TB of a file share. So if you have such a requirement that you need to share some of your official files or something, so by using this storage, you can easily store your files, and if you needed to share with anyone, you can share those files through this storage functionality. The next one is a queue storage. A queue itself, it means that if you need to share a large number of data to your receivers, so it is a kind of same a server and client application. If you let's take an example that if you have any application which needs to send a notifications or a data to your end user. So in that case, you can exchange the messages. You can configure these services through this Azure Queue Storage. It is mentioned that Azure Queue Storage service is used to exchange the messages between the components, either in a cloud or on premises. Right? You can store a large number of messages to be shared between the independent components of the application, and they communicated asynchronously via HTTP or HTTPS protocol. So basically, if you need to share some messages, if you have a large number of messages that needs to be shared over the internet, so basically you need to store these all the messages in the Azure Queue Storage, and by using that you can share the messages, right? And the last one, this is the Azure Blob Storage, which is the major usage. I mean, a major functionality that is given by the Azure Storage, that is Azure Blob Storage. What is Azure Blob Storage? It is basically a storage for the unstructured data. In the table storage, it is a structured data, but in the blob, it is the unstructured data that can include a picture, videos, music file, documents, raw data, and the log data. Right. So if you need to store any specific, I mean, if it's not a specific information, if you need to store a picture, a movie, a videos, so according to your capacity, you can store any of the thing. You can store that things into the blob storage. It is a file are stored into the directory like a structure called a container. A container is a nothing but what we are doing in our local computer. What we are doing, we are having a one folder structure. In the folder, we can store any of the things. Either it could be a video, a picture, or a music file, or a document, anything. You can store that thing into the folder. This is the same thing what they are providing into the cloud Azure, that is called Azure Blob, where you can store any of the things, right? So basically, what is a blob storage? A blob storage is it stands for the binary large object. It is basically useful to storing a maximum number of things in this blob storage. It is storing the unstructured data. As I mentioned earlier, it is having the same thing. It is using for serving the images or documents directly to the browser. Yes, this is the additional feature which is providing in the Azure Blob Storage. If you are storing any of the thing into the storage, if you need to access, you can directly access those information into the browser directly through that object URL. I will later you show how you can access the data once the data are storing into the storage. You can easily access into the browser, right? A storage is basically also using for the log files. You know better than what are the log files. If you are having any login functionality, and if you need to track your logs that how many members have logged in and how many members are not logged in, if you want to track that any of the activity, you can store that log files into the storage as well. Also, Azure is providing additional functionality which is inbuilt that if you have, you don't need to take a backup in case of any disaster recovery and the archiving folder. These each and everything are providing by the Azure storage, and you can easily, if you, I mean, missing, so in that case through the Azure backup and the recovery, you can get back those all the data, and then you can utilize those data. Now this blob storage, this blob storage is providing a three different types of structure, that how you can store the data in the blob storage. So they are providing the three different types of blobs. First is the blob, second is the append blob, and third is the page blob. So to be starting with the blob, what is that? A blobs are the optimized for streaming a sequential access and for upload and the download and that are the good choice for storing the documents, media files, and the backup files. So if you have a requirement that you can frequently uploading and accessing that data, you need to select a blob type before uploading the documents, or in documents, yeah, you can say that. So the blobs are made up of the blocks of the data. Your entire information will be divided into the small blobs, and that blobs are blocks, and that are stored to your storage. And you can individually access that storage through that block storage. So it is having a certain limitations that you can store your information into the single block around a 5 TB of data. So if you need to increase your space, then you need to configure your block type, and then you can easily add some information into the current storage. The next one is the append blob. So append blob are like the blobs. Basically, it is also storing your information, but are optimized for the append operation. So these work based with the logging and the auditing activities, and updating and deleting of existing blocks are not supported. Basically, in the blobs, you can easily upload, download, and delete the data from that thing. But in the append blobs, you are not able to delete the existing information what you have stored, because basically logging and the auditing activities. So if you don't need to, I mean, if you need to track each and every activities, that whatever the things that is happening with your applications, and if you are tracking the logs, so that each and every logs are to be maintained into this append blobs, and in the last you can access those activities from the storage. The last one is the page blob. The page blobs are optimized for the random read and write operation, and provide the ability to write a range of the bytes in a blob. Blobs are accessed as the pages, and you can store at least minimum of 512 bytes of data into the single page, and that could be arranged till the 8 TB of the single page. So basically, if you are using the premium account of your blob storage, so and in that case, you are able to use this page blobs. It is based suitable for the virtual machine disk, and page blobs are designed for that disk. So basically, whatever the read and write operation are performing onto the your virtual machine, so that each and every information will be stored through these page blobs. So these are your different types of blob storage which is providing by the Azure, right? Now, access tier. The access tier means how frequently you are using your data. You need to select this access tier. That how frequently you, after storing the data to your storage, how frequently you are accessing your data. So for that, Azure is having three different types of functionalities. Before creating the container, at the same time you need to select that which tier you need to select. That totally depends.
Wait for a while, everyone. Mr. Rushi will be joined soon. storage access tier.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll continue with this slide itself, right?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So Azure is basically providing a blob storage access tier, right? What does it mean? See, it provides the three different access tiers. First one is the hot one, second is the cool, and third one is the archive one. What does it mean? In the hot storage, if you have stored your data into the folder and you need to frequently access those data, in that case, you need to select the hot access tier because you need to access your data frequently, right? In the cool one, it is a quite different with the hot one. In the cool access tier, it is optimized for storing a large amount of data that is infrequently accessed. So based of your list usage, you need to configure your access tier as a cool access and stored for at least a 30 days. And in the archive one, if you have a minimal usage of to access your data, in that case you need to select the archive one, and at least in that case it will be list for your data is list for the 128 days 180 days, sorry, right? Now to be continue with Azure is providing one more facility, that is storage redundancy and the replication. See, in the flow that what we have done, that we have created a blob storage, and we have put it. I mean, we have stored some information into the storage. But sometimes it may happen that accidentally your data will get erased, or you have missed some data from your access. So in that case, what we are doing is that we are creating some backup, taking some backup. So in that case, we'll access our data through that backed up data. But in the Azure, it provides you don't need to take any backup in the regular interval, right? You just need to configure your redundancy and replication. So basically, and so in the primary region, the thing is it provides a replication in the LRS and the ZRS. So the LRS means a locally redundant storage, and in the ZRS, it is a zone redundant storage. So later on, I'll explain you what is LRS and the ZRS. So LRS means it copies your data synchronously 3 times within a single physical location in the primary region. So here in the diagram, it explains that this is your blob storage. If you need to, if you are storing any of the file or data in your blob storage, this LRS is automatically creating a 3 different copies of your file. So within a single data region, you will get a 3 different copies of your data. So in case of any damage, you can easily accessible. So the LRS, as it is a single data region, LRS is the least expensive replication option, but it is not recommended for the application which is requiring high availability, because it is a single data region where you are storing the actual file and your backup file. So in case of high access, it is not acquiring. If your application is restricted to the replicating of the data, so basically, if you are taking a backup of your government or any secure data, in that case, you will be using this LRS, right? In the second one is the ZRS, that is zone redundant storage. ZRS is a quite different with the LRS. In the LRS, we are having a single data center. This one, a single data center. But in ZRS, if you are storing a file in your storage, it will create the 3 different copies into the different 3 different data center. That means you need to pay for a 3 different data centers. So it is quite expensive with compared to the LRS. So in the zone redundant storage, it replicates your Azure storage data synchronously across the 3 different available zones. Each availability zone is a separate physical location with the independent of the power, cooling, and the networking. So we can consider that thing as a separate data center. So it is quite expensive with compared to LRS. and which is providing the high availability. So you can access your data from the any of the these data centers, right? The third one is the geo redundant storage, that is GRS. So it is the kind of a mixture of LRS and the ZRS. In the LRS, it's storing the three different copies in the single region. In the ZRS, it's storing the three different copies in the different region. And in the GRS, it's storing three copies in the single building and the three copies in the other one. So geo-redundant storage GRS copies your data synchronously in the three times with a single physical location in the primary region and the three different copies in the secondary region. So if you need to access your data across the globe, in that case, you can select this GRS facility, right? The thing is that how you can create the blob storage. Basically, Azure provides the four different ways. Through that ways, you can create your blob storage. First one is the Azure portal. Within that portal, you can configure your, as per your requirement, you can configure your storage account. Second is through this command line argument, that is Azure CLI. You can, by using this command line argument, you can create your storage account. You can using this scripting language, the PowerShell. By using that, you can create your storage account. Also, you can create and configure your account through the programming languages. Basically, as I discussed earlier, it provides. We can create the storage. This blob storage by using .NET, by using Java, Python, and Node.js. By using this code, we can configure and create and also access all the functionality through of this blob storage. Right now, I'll give you a demo that how you can create your storage account, how you can store the data, how you can access, and how you can restrict of access of your data. So just let me know once you visible my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So I have logged in to this Azure account, right? By logging, then after I need to create one storage account. So I need to select the storage account, and by clicking on the add, I will create a new storage account. Right, I am selecting the existing resource group. Then I need to create your name, which will be accessible throughout the access. So as of now, I'm writing the storage name as the Farul storage demo. Right. These are the available region. Within that region, we can create our storage. So this is a kind of these are the available data centers region where we can creating our storage account. So as of now, I am selecting this base TGBus 2, and these are the two different performance option that Azure is providing. Two different account, that is standard one and the premium one. But as of now, we are selecting the standard one. If I'm selecting the premium, it is not giving us the functionality of the append blob, blob, and the page blob, because basically the premium account is used for the virtual machine. So we are not, as of now, we are using virtual machine. We are using the standard one. Within that thing, these are the available replication option. It provides the your functionality by default that you need to configure LRS, ZRS, or a GRS. But right now I'm selecting this LRS. So if I am uploading any of the thing, it will creating three different copies of my data within a single region, right? And I'm click on the review and create. Yeah. So this is my subscription. This is my location where I have created my account. These are the replication type, that is LRS, and this is my performance tier, that is standard one. I need to create the account. So this is the way how we can create our storage account. Now within a create, that is a Just a minute. Yeah, here it is. So within Azure, we have our storage account. It start with the Paru storage demo, right? Now within a storage account, we can create a different storage uh, with the requirement of our requirement. So we can create a container that is nothing but the blob storage, the file that is a file storage, a table that is a table storage, and the queue that is a queue storage. It also supports the PowerShell CLI and the different programming language. By using this, also we can create this storage account and the a blob storage. So let me create one container. We can consider this container as a folder, right? So by adding this, we can create a container. Right now, I'm giving the it is a private image. This is the access level security, that who can access a data of this particular folder. So we need to set, by default it is a private, so no one can easily access our data from this container. So let me create this thing. So the folder container with the private image is created. Now I need to upload some data within this container. So for that, what I need to do, I need to click on the upload. So you can upload the data or files from your local machine. So I'm selecting this image, right? And I need to click on the upload. So within a fraction of second, the data will get update. Now you can easily access. I have mentioned earlier that you can easily access your data through the browser. So to access this image, I just need to select a URL of this data URL. If I'm clicking on this and pasting this data, it won't be allow me to use this access the data, because we haven't given any access to of this data to anyone publicly. That means you cannot easily access the data. If I need to access the data, I need to give some separate URL or access to this container. So after that, I can easily access that data. Now, one more thing, if I'm creating another container which is publicly available, that is a public image. And these are the different access level, that no anonymously access, read access, and the read and other write access. So right now I'm selecting these read access. So as of now, we have created a two different containers. One is one with the private one, and second one with the public one. So selecting the public image. Again, I'm uploading some data to this container, and I'm uploading this thing. So same way, you can access this data in the browser. So for that, I need to select the properties and select the URL, and just need to play, and we can easily access. So these are the default security which is providing by the Azure storage itself. Now the thing is that these are the storage explorer, where we can find what are the different storage we have created. In the file storage, we haven't created yet, but in the blob container we have created the two different containers. Now the thing is that let's take an example that you are having a one common folder, right? And this common folder you have uploaded some images or some data, and you need to provide the access to a particular one person. Only that person can access the data from the your private container. So for that we need to provide a shared access signature, that is SAS. So Azure provides one functionality. By using that, you can share your private data's access to the end user. So this private image container, within that we have a one image. If we need to share the data, so by clicking on this, we can create a get shared access signature. So by giving this, you can give the specific time, that for how much time you can access that data. So for that you need to give the start time and the end time. After the expiration time, if you have that URL or access, you won't be able to access the data. So these are the one more added advantage in that they can access the data with the specific time duration. And you can give the permissions by that user. If you need to give the read, add, create, write, these are the different permission. If you on a container level, if you're giving the add and the permission, so that end user can create add the data, remove the data, write and update the data. So these are the different policies and permissions you can set while giving the access. But as of now, we just need to give the read access to that user. So I have configured these access for the read access, and then create. And these are the specific shared access signature by using this URL, pasting that image. This is the same container access, but it won't be available for the publicly, but from the private container shared access signature, that is SAS token. By using that, we can access a data. So these are the available functionalities which is given by the Azure. By default, they are giving the security. All your data will be converted in the encrypted format. So even though you have access, you don't have access, you cannot read that data, right? So these are the basic functionality which is given by the Azure. Yeah, and these are the some reference link which will be helpful you guys to explore what is Azure and what are the different functionalities given by the Azure storage, and how you can configure and how you are storing the data. This each and everything will be given by in these two different links. You can I'll share this link with you guys, so you can refer this link. So yeah, that's it from my end. Now, do you guys have any doubts or concerns?
Yes, Mr. Rishi, I'm connecting with the viewers.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Okay, so there is a one term, which one is the structured and unstructured data. So can you explain this, how like unstructured data will be? What is
Yeah,
unstructured data?
yes, 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 yes. See, unstructured data you can consider. We all are aware with the table storage. I mean, table structure, right? In the table, all the data are having the in the single structure. One by one, you can store all the data in the same structure, and you can access the data by using the index, the structured one. But while in the unstructured one, you don't have any a specific pattern to store the data. At your convenience, you can store any kind of data in that, and all the unstructured data, it is not dependent with your previous stored data. So these are the major difference of the structured one and the unstructured one.
Okay.
In the
The
structured
another
one,
thing is, Yes,
In
yes,
the
yes.
in the structure one, it is not having the relationship between two stored data, but it's stored in the same sequence, right? Yes, yes. You are telling something.
Yes, yes, yes. The next question is that the one terminology is that the storage redundancy and replication. So can you explain this? What will be the redundancy and what can be the replication?
Yeah, yeah. So this redundancy and the replication is basically a connected terms, right? In the replication thing, it is a kind of a backup of your data. So if you are storing any of the things in your account, it can replicate your data into the different location. See, in this thing, is it visible, right?
Yes, yes, yes. It's visible.
So in the replication, if you are using the LRS terminology, so if you're storing your file into your storage account, your container, it will be automatically creating a three different copies of your data. So in case of any damage, if you're not able to find the data in the same folder by using this replication data, you can access your data. But the redundancy in this functionality is that within a single location, it is creating three different copies. Let's take an example that you have a single data center. Within a single data center, it creates the three different copies. So if you need to access the data, you compulsory need to connect with this data center only. And after you will able to find that your replicated copies, right? But in this ZRS, what is that? In this ZRS, once you upload your data to the storage, it will replicate your copy into the three different data centers. That means three different location from your region. Take an example that you have a one region in Baroda, one data center in Baroda, one data center in the Ahmedabad, and the one data center in the Surat. So if you are uploading any of the data into the Baroda region and by mistakenly, if your data will be lost, so the so in this functionality, your data will be replicated into the three different data centers. So if one of the user who is belong to the Ahmedabad, so he can easily access the data from the Ahmedabad data center as well. But in the LRS, the restriction is that if he is not belonging to the different data center, he won't be able to access the data. But if you're giving the access, definitely he will access the data because as it is web-based access, you can access, but the latency is very far. So might be he's getting the data with the late response. But in this ZRS situation, we have a different data center in the different region, and the different regions user can easily access the data from that data center. So these are the two terminology of replication and the redundancy.
Okay, Mr. Rishi. Then another thing is that whenever we are doing the replication of the data, right? As you've given the example, if you have the
Hmm.
three different data centers, and
Hmm.
my in the Vadodara region there is a one data, and the same data will be stored at another data center will be there. So
Yes,
there
yes,
can be the issue of some storage, right? So because I have the one data at over here, and that data will be stored another place also. So that can be the issue of some of the storage. So can any other way that can be if I lost my data, like
hmm.
so if I don't want to do the replication, so can there can be another way to overcome the situation if my data is lost and I didn't replicate that data due to the storage issue. So can there is any another solution for that?
So for the storage, if you don't, I mean, by doing the replication in the another data center, if you don't have a particular space, so in that case, you need to I mean, take a physical backup onto the storage, and you can store your data and create a physical copy within your local machine as well. So you have a take a and physical storage. but the issue is that in the local storage, the other user won't be able to access the data.
Okay.
So and basically, if you are creating a storage account, it will be giving you, I mean, the pricing wise, if you're creating the account, it will give you a quite good space while creating your storage account. So, and so that storage issue won't be while doing this replication of the thing. And the data will be stored in, I mean, it is very minimized. So data will be, um, it won't be using the much space in storage. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Rushi. I think there is no another question from the viewer side right now. On behalf from the Parul University, I'm also thanking you to provide your valuable time and valuable knowledge regarding, because into the era of the cloud computing, we are using the cloud-based servicing. So right now, Microsoft Azure is a thing that need to learn and the knowledge need to be gained. So thank you so much to provide us a very valuable knowledge regarding this. Thank you so much, Mr. Rishi.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening me for 1 hour, and that is a great opportunity that you are giving to the user and your students.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yeah.
Rishi.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yes.